So they asked if, maybe we could just loan the car to them.
Okay.
And they'd pay it off later. And since it said financing on the side of the building, I sort of thought that we did that.
Mm-hmm. Which I clearly
as long as they signed the agreement.
Who did you give the cars to?
A few different people.
Can you tell me this?
So,
just so we can know
what to do for now.
You finance with, you don't know who they are.
Yeah, they're actually. Some of them are probably on the sheet, on the Google spreadsheet. But they just weren't marked as finance. So some of those folks did not actually pay for their car.
Yeah, but I need their Steam, not their character names.
Their Steam?
Yeah, because you're saying if you sold it to their friends, you would know what their names are on Steam.
They're not friends. They're just folks that are in game that wanted cars with financing. So really, if anything, this is an in-character issue. I'm not really sure why I'm in an ad. It is actually.
It's abusing the car dealer, Manny. Yeah,
it's not.
It's abusing the car dealer.
It's not abusing it, actually. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you. Well, I'll tell you this. Jesus. I will tell you this. Hired into PDM, I was given a very brief tutorial of the menu. I was given a brief I was given a very brief explanation. I was not told what certain functions did. And I was not told what to do in certain situations where, people came in for stuff like that. So really,
Alright, so let me
excuse me. It's really not the fault of the salesman. It's the fault of the person who is supposed to be training the salesman.
Alright, so let me tell you this, right? I sat with you for 25 minutes. I told you that we will only use 5 menus. I told you which 5 minutes they were, and I told you multiple times we only use these, nothing else. 3 times. At the end of the 25 minutes, I asked you, do you have any type of questions whatsoever? And you said no. How is that my fault?
Well, you didn't explain, like, if somebody wanted to come in and do financing or something like that. You mentioned nothing about that, and then you also mentioned nothing about, people wanted cars that weren't in stock to put out on the floor. I also did that. Like, some people wanted to test drive cars that weren't on the floor, so I bought the cars so they could test drive them, but some people decided in the end that they didn't want to they didn't want to buy them.
I specifically told you never to buy a car. I specifically told you to never buy a car unless someone pays you first. I said that to everyone. So you can't.
I didn't hear that.
It's nah.
Oh,
it's not the first time.
Who did you buy cars or sell cars to? These finance cars to?
Multiple people. They should all be on the spreadsheet, like I said earlier.
Is there a number?
Yeah,
a number amount?
The cars on the spreadsheet, they make up for around 1 million, not 20. So you clearly haven't put them on the sheet.
Well, the other ones that were taken out, like the ones that probably account for over $18 million worth, were the ones that, like, for example, earlier today I had a gentleman came in and he wanted to test drive the Jaguar. So I pulled that out for him.
That's 1 million.
And then some guy wanted to test drive the Pagani. So I pulled that out for him.
5 million.
He said that it was a trade-in. And then there were a bunch of other cars too. Now I'll tell you this. I'm probably not fully responsible for 26 million. I could be responsible for a fraction of that, probably less than $6 million worth. Your other salesmen are probably, going rogue and possibly doing some more malicious stuff. I was probably arguably one of the most loyal salesmen you had and one of the most active salesmen you had, as many people had noted in game. But I will say this, I'll end on this note. I will say that less than $7 million is what I'm actually responsible for here.
It's not like I don't know what's going on in the thing that I run. I have 2 active dealers, except for you. And there is one guy named Jack, and another one, which is a staff member called Carl Optason, is his OC name. And I know for a fact that nothing has been bought in stock until I hired you, without any reason. And nothing was a problem before I hired you. And now all of a sudden we have $0 in the bank. So clearly something is going on.
Well, there was a huge security breach at the dealership earlier today. There was guys coming in, there was guns blazing. And I think that when I had purchased the Pagani, accidentally pressed the enter button multiple times because guys were coming in and shooting up the place. So I was trying to get out of the menu.
What's his Steam name? What's your Steam name?
Me?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Tommy.
Yeah, Mr. Tommy.
I mean, I'm sort of confused as to how this is an out-of-character situation now, an admin situation, when it should be handled in character.
So explain to me how you would be able
Because it's a big worry whenever you have that amount of money come up missing. It's no longer an in-character thing.
Well, the money,
That's why.
like I'll tell you this. There's no one on the server that has a car that they shouldn't have. That's my responsibility.
See,
Say
this whole
that.
you telling me how things are going, not working for you. I'll be honest with you.
What?
Well, you come into this whole thing with like this ego of it's everybody else's fault.
It's
How
not
long
an
have you been playing
ego.
5M?
I've been asked to come into this channel and explain
How
the
long have you been
situation, and
playing
I'm
5M?
going to. How long have I what?
Been playing 5M.
I've been on here for a few months now. I used
this
to.
server?
What?
On this server or no?
Yeah, I've been playing on here for a few months, but within the past month is when I've really started to, get more involved in terms of applying for different jobs and stuff. When I was playing, I really wasn't that. I didn't really get on the Discord or anything. I just sort of did my own thing.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, really, I'm not coming. The whole thing was not malicious. There was no malicious intent on my part. But it was just honestly a mistake because I must have pressed the enter button on the Pagani multiple times. If you're saying it's 26 million, it's lost.
So you're aware about it, or
Aware of what?
you were aware of it that you pressed, or that you accidentally did something, or?
I mean, I'm guessing that must be the scenario because the Pagani only cost, I believe, 4 million to pull out. So I must have hit it multiple times. And actually, I do remember because a bunch of cars stacked up on each other when I was trying to spawn them in. Hit a bunch of them, so that could have been what the situation was.
Well, there's only one car in
All of a
stock
sudden you know.
with the BC, so it's not multiple. So that's not the case.
Well, then
You're backtracking on yourself because you came in the call initially saying that you gave some cars to your summer offense. Then you changed that to you gave some
Have you went
people
through the logs
financing.
and seen every car that he sold?
Yes, when it's not showing up.
I did say that I sold to my friend. I sold to 2 friends. That's it.
Yeah, and I need their Steam names, but you say you don't have them, so.
I do have. Well, I have the one Steam name, but I don't know the other Steam name. He's just a friend in game on the server.
I'll be right back.
What's the guy's Steam name?
Heinrich.
Okay. And the character name of the other guy?
Joshua Cashmere. That's his in-game name.
Alright. I'm gonna move you out for a second, Tommy.